Hello again. Now, calls for more aid to assist refugees fleeing the war in Ukraine are becoming more desperate. This as more people continue to flee the country to seek shelter in neighbouring countries like Poland. Our senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is there joining us now to bring us the latest out of Poland. He's been doing this for the past weeks. Joining us now live. Ncome, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. Let's just begin with a general question. We understand that the refugees are continuing to flee Ukraine. The need for more emergency aid is becoming more and more intense, and then emergency relief is needed.
Indeed, and that emergency relief is the one that they need the most, those who are crossing the border from Ukraine to Poland. According to official updated statistics from the United Nations and the Polish authorities, now they are confirmed people, the number of confirmed refugees in Poland is 2 million. And that number keeps on growing every day, every minute. We are in Hrebana, one of the borders between Ukraine and Poland. My colleague Joko Mane will show you here. You will see ambulances are coming over from the side of Ukraine, crossing into Poland. They are assisting people who need medical help. The queue is very long on the other side. We are told by police here, we are told by volunteers. You will not be able to see a long queue of people streaming into Poland simply because they are being evacuated by buses and by other modes of transport. But each and every car you see coming from the Ukrainian side is carrying people that are crossing over to Poland. And we've been trying to interview people here. I think this gentleman wearing a white jacket here is waiting for someone. He's waiting for his wife and his children, and I think he's waiting for some relatives. And you can see the old lady inside that car is crying. Basically, people are emotional after crossing the border. They cross using cars, buses and other modes of public transport that have been organized by the local authorities here. And I think the gentleman here was waiting for that old lady. We were asking to have an interview with him. He said he was waiting for his mom. That's the son waiting for the mom. I think there's another ambulance coming over, crossing. So this is the situation here in Hrebana border. This is the border, the nearest city or nearest town between Poland and Ukraine. Once you cross the border into Ukraine, the nearest town is about 30 kilometers from here. That's how close it is to travel from Poland to Ukraine, and more people are coming over using buses. And I think we'll try and get one of the volunteers here to see if she can be able to tell us something while Joko Mane is staying with those visuals of cars, crossings, ambulances. And there are many trucks that are waiting to cross over to Ukraine. They are delivering food and other needed essentials for those who need help. But something unique that is different that I'm observing at this border is that you see too many ambulances, you see too many cars that are providing at least medical help and medical supplies for people who are coming over from Ukraine. And there are evacuations because those that are crossing the border would have left their medications behind. Some of them, they would have been injured, they need help. So once they cross the border, they get taken to the nearest health facilities. There are also makeshift tents here in hospitals and clinics. But let's talk to one of the volunteers. Thank you very much for your time. Let's talk about what you do here. What kind of help do you give to Ukrainian refugees?
We conduct humanitarian actions to people in Ukraine that need help because they are affected by Russian in Ukraine. We give them food, drink, and a place where they can rest.
Yeah. Do you see too many of them coming over, crossing over here? Some people have said they've spent 5 days to cross. Are there too many people crossing over?
Every day the border crosses by several thousands people. A lot of people crosses.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for your time. That is one of the volunteers who's from Poland. She's helping out here. There are too many volunteers. Others are from other countries such as Lithuania. There are volunteers from Germany. And you see old people here, mainly people who cross from this border are old people, unlike the one in Medica where it's relatively young women and children. Here you see elderly citizens crossing, and once they cross, they get taken to some of the tents. They are asked what kind of help they need, and then they will say probably they need medical supplies, they need accommodation, and then they will be taken to the nearest place of safety where they will be kept. Others have been here for almost 2 weeks now. Others continue to make their onward journeys. They will either go to a city known as Krakow or to go to Warsaw. Others will opt to just take buses and go to Czech Republic, Germany, France and Italy. But Polish authorities continue to be worried as the numbers are increasing.
Yeah, you know, Siphamandla, yesterday I interviewed the Ukrainian ambassador to South Africa just to get a sense from her, in terms of her official channels, what the situation is like on the ground from a humanitarian perspective. I mean, it looks like it's not about to end anytime soon as well, because the talks are not making any progress. I guess Poland has to brace itself for many more thousands of people fleeing Ukraine over the next few days.
Indeed, the longer this war drags on, the longer this humanitarian crisis grows, and people are already stretched in Poland. Polish citizens have opened up their homes. They are welcoming more and more people that are coming in. Joe Komane will shift slightly and show you that border. Stay with some of the visuals, even though it doesn't look that busy, but there will be buses that will be coming over, crossing into Poland from Ukraine, as some people are being given leaves now. There are cars that are taking people. These are some of the Polish citizens that have decided to volunteer transport services. You see ambulances going through across the border. It's very busy here in terms of cars moving up and down, ambulances mostly, and you get a sense that the issue of medical supplies is one of the most important, at least here in this border. And Polish citizens have volunteered to use their cars to help people with transportation, because you know, authorities alone, local municipalities and the government, they are struggling with transportation. And I guess that's one of the things that people can do in terms of volunteering their services. They are donating with their cars so that people can get transport to travel to the nearest places. Others will be going to train stations. That is where they will be staying. Others will be going to supermarkets and shopping malls that have been converted into humanitarian aid centers. And this humanitarian crisis looks like it will take some time for it to be over.
Thank you very much, Siphamandla Goge, there on one of the border posts inside Poland, on border with Ukraine.